Hey Leah, welcome to your April reading. Sorry, I was just checking the mic was attached to the video. Welcome to your April reading. So I'm going to put the mic down in order to shuffle and lay down your cards. I will be holding the mic for the rest of the time so you can hear me more clearly. So it is a bit chilly this morning, so I am wearing my Gudetama hoodie. So I look a little bit like, I feel like because you can only see the black, that's like some kind of French artist or something. But it is super soft. It like feels like cashmere, but it's not cashmere. It's from black milk. Anyway, guys, let me begin shuffling. I'll pick you up in a second. You can still hear me babbling on. It's just a lot quieter when the mic is away from me. Two cards. That's cool. Last cards. I'm using 3 decks, so bear with me a second. Okay guys, so Leo, let's see. You had the Spirit Fox as your first card, which I had this for Aries as well, so this may perhaps be a fire sign kind of energy. It says trust your talents in times of change. So things are changing at the moment. Astrologically, we are all being pushed towards change and positive change, negative change in the sense of we might be feeling quite heartbroken by the changes we're going through, or just really restless and I don't know, like we're being thrown around a little bit. I feel like it's been like that especially over the last year. And we're still kind of in this energy, but it's much more productive this year because last year's energy was like take steps and just kind of like this kind of movement. I feel like this year there's a lot more productivity and we're seeing the results of each action that we take or non-action that we take. And to me, this is sort of saying like trust in yourself and the ability to again, adapt. I feel like foxes are very adaptable, but they take risks. They take risks that they know that they need to take. So for example, a fox will be confident enough to walk into a town where there's people. It's very dangerous actions to take. However, they know that they need food and they've got to do this. And it's about kind of, I feel with the spirit fox, is having the confidence to do the things that are scary, to do the things that are perhaps other people will see as a silly move. But I feel like you're in this space of being confident, to trust in your abilities to get done what you need to get done, to get to where you need to go safely, because you're as smart and as sly as a fox. And I feel like it's trusting in that. This card is saying like trust that you are going to be great, going where you need to go. So the first cards we have, so I've got 2 cards, how they're laid out, 2 cards in one position for each of our main deck, our main layout. So these are your first 2 cards. You have Be Gentle with Yourself and 6 of Cups. So the Be Gentle with Yourself, again, we're in this very restless space, and I feel like, again, when we're making the tough decisions, we can be kind of hard on ourselves. So even though on the exterior, we're kind of be doing what we need to do, and that involves interior, but I feel like there's this other layer behind that where we may start to doubt, are we doing the right thing? And we allow those sort of things to creep on in. And it's hard as well, taking these safe risks. Doing the things that are scary is very hard on us, and our vulnerability. You've got to realize that you're doing the best that you can, and to allow yourself to be kind to yourself during this. I feel like you need to be your biggest, like, I want to say biggest asset, but I kind of feel like your biggest supporter is more of that feeling that I'm getting here. It's like sitting on your own shoulders, carrying yourself through this, and being a strength for you. So with this card, I typically get a much more vulnerable feel for it. But for you guys, I'm not really getting that. I just feel as though you need to, like I said, carry yourself through this. You need to be your strength. It doesn't feel like the same normal feel that I would get with this, which is awesome and amazing, because I feel as though it's like you have everything that you need, Leo, to get to where you're going. So this is paired with Six of Cups. The Six of Cups represents kind of things coming together, coming into a completion, really, and like a time for you to I feel as though it's time for you to be seeing the results, is how I'm actually reading this for you. I feel as though what you're seeking and searching for is something that's going to make you much more comfortable and able to live the life your way. Like your life, your way, by your rules. And that's what you're aiming for. And I feel like this is saying, like, be kind to yourself because you're working towards that. And you are putting in the hard work. But this card, Six of Cups, is kind of like as though being at peace with the decisions you're making, which I guess makes sense with the be gentle for yourself, because I feel like you know exactly why the things that are going on in your life right now are, and it's actually working in your favor. I'm loving that, Leo, loving it. Positive thoughts create positive results. Definitely feel what I was saying there with those little niggles of self-doubt, of those, am I doing the right thing, and kind of maybe internally freaking out for a second. Realize that if you want something to work out in the best way, you need to make sure you're taking inventory and just pushing away the doubts that you know are not real. Because I get this sense of really when you are having these self-doubts, and it's more of just a way of internally beating yourself up a little bit, because I feel like you just know it's not really true, it's not accurate, but they can hinder your progress on the external. So remember, if we're telling ourselves, I don't think I can do this, that may come into play into your life in the actions that you take, because on the days where you're doubting yourself more higher, less action is going to be taken towards your dreams, your goals, and it just slows you down. I don't feel like a hindrance here, like you're going to stop you from doing what you need to do. I just feel like it might slow down and just make the process more unpleasant for you. And it's good that I'm sensing it like this, because it doesn't feel like it's hindering you much. Like, I think some of the earth signs are really feeling the feels, which again, if you have earth sign in your chart, you might be feeling the feels more so than somebody who has a Leo that has other things in their chart, because energy for earth signs is very much feeling like very internal work needing to be done. And there's a little niggle of it here of those self-doubts and the negative talks, but it doesn't feel like it's hindering you, Leo. I feel like you have the passion and that confidence of the fox. Do not believe it, but be aware that again it does influence your external, and it might just slow down your progress. But paired with it is literally Queen of Wands, which is really awesome as well to have with this. I feel like you really are creating at the moment, and again, you're being your own boss in your life, which is exactly what we all need to be doing. Especially with the astrology, with Uranus in Taurus, it's all about values. And really is like this kind of goal for this kind of era is to be doing things in alignment with ourselves, which stand by our own personal values, right? And that's what I feel like you're doing. You're trying to kind of build your life to be within your values, so you're able to live your life much more comfortably your way again. And I keep getting it, doing it your way, which I love. And I just feel like you are literally, like this queen on a throne. And this is not gender, you can be male or female, but again, the queen on the throne. I actually had this thought, it's just a little bit of a sidetrack here. I had this thought last night, how powerful women are amazing. Like, if you have like a powerful man, it's just expected, and it's like, it's kind of like, a man in power, oh, wow, okay, big one. But a woman in power is something fierce, because she's got something to prove. If you look at all the queens in history, and obviously I'm going from English history, that's my heritage, the queens are badass, and they've got something to say. The men, it's like mainly their legacy. It's things that they fucked up, like beheading and divorcing, he's one of our most famous kings. But the women are just badass, and yeah, there's times where they tried to taint her legacy by saying she was crazy or she was a virgin, you know, tainting it. But like, these are just like literally aesthetical things. My cat, I have a black sheet behind this so that you don't see my bedroom behind me, and the cat just freaking loves playing with, stop, because you'll pull the sheet down. Anyway, sorry. And this is what I'm seeing. I feel like, as in taking something and building your legacy like a queen. Whether you're male or female, you're building it like a freaking queen. Because we're in the age of femininity. Well, that was both magic and tarot. Oh, guys, chill. Okay, moving on to the next keyword, Leo. We have Father Sky and Warrior. And we have 2 cards in this position. It's a 1 card place, so whenever that happens, I'm like, spicy. Okay, Warrior, be fierce and stand strong. And then Father Sky is trust the unknown. So you are being guided in both your keywords positions you've had so far is to trust. So believe in yourself, have faith, and trust in the process. Trust in the unknown of the Father Sky. He's kind of like, you're not always going to know where you're going. You've got to trust that everything that you do is guided in a way that's going to get you your best outcome. And actually with anything, it's better to look at things that way. The hiccups and things along the way don't stop us from being able to achieve great things. It means that we're not quite going the way to achieve that, the greatest of the great, right? So we just redirect. And I feel like you need to realize this, that we're real hiccups and bumps in the road. They are just that. They're just trying to navigate you to a more, I don't want to say profitable for some reason, so perhaps that is your guidance, Leo, a more profitable outcome. Be fearless and strong. Again, you're being told to be confident and just go for it. Stand strong and stand by your values. Again, I feel like this is a time when you are bossing it up and you're creating what you desire in your life for you. And of course others around you benefit from that, because when we're thriving, people that we love are also thriving and benefiting from that. And I do feel like this is a time for you to be focusing on your aspect of this and less on the benefit of others, because again, when you're thriving, they will benefit from that, whether it is literally by you being this great role model for them to live up to and to realize that if you can do it, they can do it too. They have that potential. I just get that feeling that in many ways can be your legacy as well, part of your legacy, being that great role model. See, there's an eagle as well. I just get this sense of you really doing great things at the moment. I'm really loving this vibe. So we have the 10 of Wands paired with, and pay attention because this is reversed, this situation is already resolved. So I feel like the worries and concerns and doubts are based on really self-imposed things where you may have taken on past experiences and allowed that to attach to you. For example, you tried to do this thing that you're trying to do now before, and it didn't work out. So this is instantly going to, anytime that something seems to be going wrong or not how you expected in that moment, you can be reverted back to the time you tried before and start worrying and thinking, oh no, I'm going through this again. What am I doing? I should have learned the first time. Like, that is a general, very nowadays, like a common way to allow our mindset to go. Because we're all healing and we've all been bruised so harsh by our past experiences. But we've got to realize that actually that's what's happened astrologically at the moment, is we are rapidly repeating our lessons over and over again. And we're coming to this space now where this is it. We're going to do it, and we're going to do it like we are going to bring it full circle this time. And I feel like knowing that for yourself is a very good thing to push. But I get the sense of this 10 of Wands being like you lifting yourself off burdens. Be aware of being overwhelmed by what you're going through. Because the 10 of Wands can represent being overburdened and overwhelmed. But with paired with this solution is already resolved, I just feel as though it's more just realizing that you're not taking on more than you can handle. You can perfectly handle this perfectly well. I just get the sense of it being due to past experiences. So be wise and realize that you got this. And again, when you're doing things you have done before, you are coming in from a space of growth. You already know what didn't work, or you already feel that you have grown in such a way that you can handle the parts that didn't work last time in a way that will get you there this time. Use your imagination, you'll see the answer. So get creative. This is with 10 of Pentacles in reverse. I definitely feel like get creative and think outside of the box in terms of doing things differently this time. The 10 of Pentacles can mean, in reverse, can mean that, again, this feeling of overwhelmness. Perhaps during this time you're needing to be stepping away from perhaps family life. Things are going to get a little bit busy because, again, you are stepping out into the unknown and you're kind of taking action. I do get this sense of feeling that maybe you can't spread yourself so many ways. So be aware of that sort of energy. But get creative, and I feel like you will find a way to make it work for yourself. Let's have a look what that 10 of Pentacles is giving me. Definitely trust in your instincts. I feel like you'll know. So, and I'm going to use this because it's what popped into my mind. For example, if family are feeling neglected, if you know that this is what just has to be in this moment, but you feel selfish and you feel like maybe that's not the right move, if you really actually know that this is just a moment and they can feel a little bit neglected for a little bit because you know that this is going to benefit everyone in the long run, because again, especially with that top guidance being that by doing what you're doing, it will benefit those you love. If you are in that know, then understand and just get creative. So with your time and with your efforts, but also be kind to yourself and realizing that people don't see things the way that you see it. None of us think alike. We all have our own neurospicy brains, that whether they're neurotypical or not, we're all on this spectrum of thinking differently and innovatively. And that's what's really amazing about us as humans, is that we have the ability to bring different ideas to the table and different ways of seeing things. And that's a really good thing. But it can cause issues in our personal lives when our loved ones don't think the same way we do. But that's not a us problem. We just have to acknowledge and realize that to come from a place of compassion and love, right? And that's what they need to do too. I feel like I need to say to you is don't take on other people's burdens and problems, because again, you already have enough on your plate. Taking on their burdens, if they're an adult, then they are capable of working through their things by themselves. And I just get the sense of perhaps you being someone who will help them through everything, which means that they don't go through things by themselves. So when you are needed to be somewhere else, they are going to struggle because they've never had to. And that is where there's this parental kind of saying that sometimes, and I don't fully believe this, but for this circumstances, sometimes being the best parent is allowing them to make their own mistakes. Now, I don't believe that means don't support your children and don't help them financially and stuff like that, because I don't believe in that. I believe in the community and helping each other where we can. However, that is true. It's like sometimes I feel that people are overpowering with their children, with their loved ones, because they want some kind of control, or they feel like they're valued because they're that helper. But actually sometimes you're the one that's taken for granted, because that person never has to do anything for themselves. One day you may not be here for them. Maybe you are gone, sorry. But maybe they have moved somewhere else and you can't be that person for them. If they're not gaining those skills earlier on, it's going to be much harder later on. So it is a kindness to also help as much you can. But if you cannot be that person, it's okay too. You cannot expect to be everything for everyone. Traveler. This was in reverse, so pay attention. Your next two keywords are traveler, move in a new direction. Things are definitely changing, and again, I want to touch on how the astrology at the moment is making us all restless. It's making us all kind of depressed, actually. I've seen this because I'm an observer and I kind of take on little snippets of all things I see, and it creates patterns for myself, and that's how I see the energy. And I'm noticing that actually it is a key theme that everybody is struggling at the moment, and everybody is kind of depressive and feeling that they just don't know what steps to take next. Now, this is a kind of general energy. There's a reason for it, right? And it's to push us towards change, because once we hit, it's like the dark side of the moon, once we hit our shadow self, things cannot get worse than this. We end up finding a way to get out, and that's where the passions ignite to make the change, positive change in our life. So this traveler card here totally makes sense anyway astrologically. And for you guys, I'm definitely seeing you being the ripple of making change in your life, which I am loving. So be open to moving in new directions as and when they come. The fact that this is so far along in your reading, I feel as though be open to things, again, not going how you initially expected, because a new direction is better for you. I did mention that on the keyword before as well, about perhaps things will be shaped in a different way that will work out better for you. So by being open to a new direction and to changing, that makes it much more smoother and more efficient, I guess, towards your goals. Keep your eyes on the intended target. This comes with the Four of Swords in reverse. So the Four of Swords upright is to rest and relax. This is now time for you to no longer allow yourself. So as I just touched on, because this card does typically come up in the upright when there is depression and things on the cards, and it's saying just rest, allow that time. But I feel like for you, it's saying there's no need for rest now. It's a time for action. It's time for you to put things, kind of the stepping stones down towards that goal that you're wishing to achieve. And I feel like it's because you've already just taken a step towards something. So it's saying keep your eyes on the intended target. So keep it in your line of sight and be that what drives you towards anything. So when we just touched on down here about maybe feeling overwhelmed and overburdened, keep your eye on the target and make sure that what you are choosing is getting you towards what you're desiring. So this Four of Swords in reverse is saying, yep, take action. No longer a time to be procrastinating and allowing things to just work out for you. I feel like you're coming out of the slumber and into this next level, this new change. What is that? That's so funny. Yeah, it is. Ew. Sorry, my son, I'm trying to distract him with food, and I gave him his lunch and his iPad. Okay. So this is also reverse, so pay attention. We have the romance angels are helping you, and also the Knight of Cups. So you're on a journey for sure at the moment. The romance angels are helping you, are saying that you are so surrounded by support and love, that's kind of like, actually I want to say it's like a key ingredient for you for all things you're doing. I feel like your actions may actually be ruled by love, as though, again, when we're talking about values, I feel like love is very much important for you in why you are doing anything at the moment. But it's also a card to say that people are supporting you. You have a team of people that want you to do well in your life. With the Knight of Cups, I always kind of get that vibe of being supported on your journey too, that you're able to kind of move through it more smoothly because you have this support. With that romance angels, with that, I would say you definitely have a team of support, that people are there thriving you, and that leads to success for sure. Now this Knight of Cups saying, you know, where you are coming from, you've already grown so much. You brought it as far as it can go, and it's now your time to move on to better things. Definitely moving towards good times. I do feel as though you come with a lot of history. I feel as though that you have a lot of wisdom with you, a lot of experience, which is going to make what you're doing a lot easier now. And the key is to trust your heart and follow your emotions. If something feels off, trust in that. And again, you are being loved and guided by your angels, by your spiritual team. So again, if you feel overburdened and have worries and concerns, I feel like actually just taking that moment to tune in with yourself, and kind of, you can have a conversation with them, whatever it is that's your thing, or you can just sit and listen to yourself. Again, what is your thing? And I feel like this will help you actually come to realizations of how you are feeling about something, and trusting in that feeling. Knowing that, again, you come with all of this experience, you come with all this wisdom, you know exactly what you need to do. It's just realizing how you are feeling, because sometimes we're that overwhelmed or stressed, have that many conversations in our heads that we can't actually realize what we're thinking, and it takes that just stopping for a second to realize. Okay, we have Fire Guardian, ignite your passions. And I definitely have had this sense all the way through this of you doing what makes you feel good, doing it for the reasons that make you live to your best, highest value. We have innocence now. This is kind of like parallel to the end and the beginning. I feel like, again, make sure that you realize that you are doing the best that you can. I do feel this sense in here. I keep touching on being overwhelmed and overburdened. So I do think that you're up and down with stresses, and this could be what feels like hiccups to you. But again, realize that everything good always comes with hard work. You worked so hard to get to this point, and that can really wear us down a little bit. So realize that, again, you are this innocence. You are doing the best that you can. Now, if over here we do have family members that are putting pressures on us because we can't be the person they need us to be in this moment, and we're already feeling overburdened, you need to realize that you're innocent in this, and again, it is a them problem. I kind of want you to think that when something happens, think to yourself, is this a me problem or is it a them problem? If people are bringing you drama and issues, that's usually is a them problem, or else they would come to you from a loving space where you wouldn't feel burdened by what they're bringing to you, right? So realize that. Yeah, the King of Pentacles. So the reason why they're doing this, and I feel like for you, with your innocence, this is actually a really great card to have it. So the King of Pentacles, he's reliable, he's a visionary, and he's generous. So he's always been there for everybody, and he's always reliable with whatever he has to offer, whatever they need. Because you're that person, it can make you quite vulnerable to being taken advantage of or taken for granted. So realize, again, your sensitivity here of being in that position. And again, think on your reasons for why you need to be that person. Like, what in your heart makes you that? It's a really good, strong thing to be. But being strong and resilient is a really horrible thing to be in reality, because we shouldn't have to be the strong and resilient person all the time. And we're coming into this realization of that. Because again, when we speak of strong women, we think they were strong, they were resilient, because again, they had to go through more shit than everybody else to become this great legendary thing. And that sucks, because you should not have to go through a lot harder things to get equal things, which is the whole point of feminism. Now, obviously, with any of that, it's always tainted by people going, oh, yeah, but this, no, it's not right, and it never should have been right. And I feel like for you, acknowledge that why you are like that is an asset to yourself. But again, it can make you be taken advantage of. But that's a them problem. It's not a you problem. The you problem in that is needing your boundaries and to realize what you are truly passionate about, and actually with that, I'm just getting what is your heart telling you is more important in this time. Shield yourself. So again, protect yourself from other people's energy. That's exactly what that card is. We're on the last card now. It's paired with the Nine of Pentacles. Now you have a lot of Pentacles in here, which makes me feel like you're heading towards your prosperity, reaping your abundance. Now that can look in many ways. When I read abundance, I see it as the whole big picture. It's financial, it's happiness, it's like fulfillment in family and home. It's the whole thing. Because when we want abundance, it's just like that means a lot of something. We want the good stuff, right? And I feel like that is, again, starting with your core value of why you're doing stuff. That also means financially. And I do feel like that's kind of where you're heading, is setting kind of the foundations to your security moving forward. So the Nine of Pentacles upright is accomplishment, it is prosperity, it's stability, which is exactly just what I said about your foundations. So protect your energy and know that everything you're working towards is that. This is a really great card, and it also is a card of new beginnings, of starting kind of at the bottom, working your way to the top to create something much more stronger. That's what I'm kind of getting here. I feel like it feels as though as well the pressure of this being your responsibility. Again, I want you to make sure you realize how great you are. I feel like saying, like, you're freaking amazing. You're doing great. So make sure you're protecting your energy. And again, other people's problems are not yours. I keep saying this all the way from it. It's not a you problem. Don't let it affect your mindset, because positive thoughts create positive results. And sometimes the influences of others create that negative narration inside us that we're not good enough, we can't spread ourselves, I can't be there for the people I love, or I can't be there for them and do this for myself, and it just gets too much. So I need you to realize that you cannot burden yourself with things that are not in alignment with where you're wanting to be right now. And that is okay. And I shouldn't have to give you permission. I want you to give yourself permission. So thank you guys. Thank you for being here, Leo. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next month. Thank you guys.